Lastly, in section 8, top of page 80, we devoted an entire chapter to talk about Torah observance, or, quote, Shomer Mitzvot, end quote, as many religious Jews call it. Does Galatians signal the end of the age of law for Christians? That's really the big question. As many people study the book of Galatians, it is a natural question to ask when you read the book and when you embark on a study of the book. Does Galatians signal the end of the law for Christians? Did the Apostle Paul preach the end of the law? In my opinion, the short answers are no and no, right? It's plain and simple. Paul did not preach the end of the law, and Galatians does not signal the end of the age of law for Christians. There's no dispensational switching off going on here. Paul not only did Torah, but he also taught others to do the Torah. For instance, the fact that Paul did Torah and also taught others to do the Torah, these facts that I'm mentioning can easily be observed by James' instructions to Paul in Acts 21:24. Let me just pull a brief quote from there. Quote, "Thus all will know that there's nothing in what they have been told about you, but that you yourself also live in observance of the law," end quote. Now, if you remember, James, as I say in my commentary, was addressing this specific rumor among the Judean Jews concerning Paul. And what was that rumor? Let's read again from the Acts 21 passage. Quote, "That you, Paul, teach all the Jews who are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, telling them not to circumcise their children or walk according to the customs," end quote. That was the rumor. That was the rumor. And what did James ask Paul to do in order to not only dispel the rumor, but to demonstrate the exact opposite? What do we read in my commentary? Paul demonstrated by his lifestyle, not only just by teaching, not only just by his letters, but by his very lifestyle, that the law did not come to an end in Messiah, at least for Jews, right? At least for Jews, because we know Paul was a Jew, James is a Jew, and the Jews that were described in Acts 21, what does it say there? That they're all zealous for the law, and they hold to faith in Messiah. So at least we know it's not coming to an end for Jews. We can at least make that admission. But Paul, moreover, admitted to this fact that he still upheld the law. So he not only demonstrated it by his lifestyle, he also admitted to this fact later on in his life. And if you look up Acts 21:24, Acts 24:14 through 16, Acts 25:8, and Acts 26:4 and 5, go back and read those passages, you're going to find Paul confessing that he holds to everything written in the law and the prophets. He worships God in accordance with what his fellow Jewish countrymen also believe. In other words, he's not trying to destroy Judaism. He's not trying to bring the age of law to a close and usher in the era of grace and Messiah. None of that is happening at all. All of that really, those viewpoints, that theology is really, in my understanding, a later invention by the later emerging Gentile communities that made a decisive break from the oppressive, unbelieving Jewish communities that were basically kicking them out of the synagogues. So let's keep reading. If you also carefully look at James' instructions to Paul, notice also James doesn't add any supposed quote-unquote three-part breakdown to the law. We've heard this before, the moral, the ceremonial, the civil, right? James doesn't say, you also live in observance of the moral law, but you've taken a break from the civil and the civil and the ceremonial. James doesn't mention any three-part breakdown to the law. He just says law, right? And I think that this is telling. This is only one place that we see this, but I think this would indicate that these three designations are probably unsanctioned man-made distinctions, and as such, I think they're confusing and unnecessary.